Hello and welcome to Redbeard Shaves. My shave tonight is going to involve my review of Doppleganger Green Label by Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements. This is their homage to Paco Rabanne. It consists of rosemary, sage, rosewood, laurel, lavender, geranium, moss, honey, tonka bean, musk, and amber. This is a really nice classic Forget smell. I have been soaking in the bloom water my Semogue 830 boar brush. It was recommended that I do a boar brush in a video in a live that I was doing on Facebook the other night. Also, what came up was the use of slants, so I'm going to use my Merkur 37C slant. And for the first time, I'm going to be trying out a Gillette Wilkinson sword. So I'm going to get this lather going. Hope you guys started off the week good. Happy Monday. My official work Monday starts tomorrow night, but got to hang out with the kiddo today. He's been fighting a little bit of ear infection and cold, but it seems like the antibiotics have kicked in and he's feeling a bit better. More his spunky self, which is always good. Gives him a workout and gives Dad a workout. So, a little lather off the puck, start working it in the bowl. This brush was recommended to me by Glenn Helly. He actually did a video tonight using his, which actually has an absolute fantastic bloom to the bristles. And he spoke to me about trying one of these because they're pretty inexpensive. I got mine for, I think, $27 on Amazon. And he said that once they get worked in, which doesn't take too much time, the hair's all split and it just creates this really soft bloom, especially for a boar brush. So, thought I'd give her a whirl. I have a kind of try to work it in a little bit. I did, I think, 8 lathers and sit out with the lather in the bristles with just Perazzo green. And then one thing to be aware of, if you're using a boar brush, they do take a little bit longer to soak in water. They can be kind of brittle when they're dry, so you really want to allow those hairs to absorb the water and get nice and soft and pliable. But it's doing an excellent job so far at lathering this up. PAA CK6 is a fairly thirsty soap, so you just, once you get that sheen, you just keep working it and add in little bits of water until you get those nice peaks you're looking for. This is a nice dense lather. I always really enjoy using the CK6 blend. It's one of my favorite bases. And Douglas just keeps coming out with awesome scents. So that makes it even more enjoyable. Almost there. Just a touch more water. Get this to blow up a little bit more for me, because I like lather. Yes, I do. See there. Good stuff. So, I'm going to wet the dome, use the cube, and get this shave going. This has a just absolute wonderful scent coming off the puck, and while lathering it, it definitely has a cologne scent to it. So if you're not a cologne person, it's probably a little more on the higher spectrum of cologne scented soaps, at least to my sniffer. I kind of like a variety of everything, so this wouldn't be a soap that I could wear or splash that I could use like on a work day, but it could be going out to a movie or a dinner or something like that. Okay. All right, let's lather this up. The nice part about boars is even if they get soft, they have a good exfoliation component to them. Like today I didn't use any exfoliator. I actually showered early this morning. It's like 9 p.m. my time. So get that little added benefit of getting exfoliation as if I did just shower. Might add just a smidge more water. This is a thirsty soap. This is the first time I've actually used this on my head, and I have to say it feels softer than my Omega boar that I have. Not as much scritch. Okay. So when I first started really DE shaving my head, I had started with the Merkur 34C, and then I really got where I really liked the slants. It was just kind of working for me learning my technique. So I've acquired multiple ones, and they're not scary. A lot of people are scared because of the angle of the bar, but you just really shave with it like you do any other razor. If you need to cut in a straight line, you just kind of angle it to where you do cut in that line. I've gotten some just absolutely fantastic shaves with slants. The whole theory behind it is that since it's at an angle, it cuts the hair more efficiently. I don't know that that's necessarily the case for me. I know that almost every slant I've used has been a smooth shaver, and I really enjoy it. But compared to like my DE89, I would say they're very similar in efficiency. Same with the Maggard V3 head that I have on my Rod George. You know, there's so much packed into this scent that it's kind of hard for me to pick out individual notes in it, but I can definitely catch some of the lavender and the geranium and the musk and the amber that's coming through. And it's quite pleasant. And even with me not just coming out of the shower, not having any problems running the blade down. This Wilkinson sword's actually pretty smooth in this razor. And this is the Gillette one. It's not the official Wilkinson sword blade. Doesn't feel as sharp as some of the other blades that I like, but it definitely feels nice and smooth. Definitely be able to get a better feel for it when I do my against the grain pass. I think this is like Ken Surf's favorite blade. He uses these a lot. And I can see why, because definitely seems to be very, very, very smooth. All right, that's first pass done. Hands. And get ready for my against the grain pass. So these bores may not hold quite as much soap as a Badger or a even some of the denser synthetics, but I always kind of do a mix between a bowl lather and a head lather, so I always have extra cream in the bowl, especially for when I frost the top. But I'm not expecting to have like a whole bunch of leftover soap in the bristles from my cleanup. Yeah, it's just blended together well for a nice fougere scent. It's masculine. Okay. Now for the fun part, frosting the top. So Glenn says that it only took like 10 uses to really break in his Semogue, so I'll be curious to see how long it takes me to be able to break it in, because he has like this gorgeous bloom on his. And he compares it once it's been wet and absorbed the water to like corn silk. That's how soft the tips are. All right, against the grain, here we go. Blades maybe not quite as smooth on the against the grain pass. I can feel that if I'm not dedicated to my stroke, that it wants to kind of grab and could bite me. So we might see a little blood tonight, I don't know. Good feedback on these Merkurs. You can really hear it mowing through those hairs or whiskers. I don't get a lot of blade fill off the slant, not this slant in particular. But the audio feedback is enough for me to know that I have the right angle and kind of tell if I'm getting ready to have an oopsie or not. Definitely not as smooth on the against the grain as it was with the grain, but it's not the worst that I've tried. And I always like to give blades at least 2 or 3 chances unless I have like gargantuan irritation. Just to make sure I didn't get one that wasn't quite sharpened right, or maybe I had something that affected the performance of it. As always, residual slickness is phenomenal. CK6. Since I am doing kind of a late night shave, I'm not going for a BBS tonight. I'm actually just going to call it 2 and done. I'm not going to go through a cleanup pass. So I'm going to go ahead and rinse off the old melon. Here's some water running. So in rinsing off and kind of feeling what's left over without doing a cleanup, I mean, my trouble spots are typically right here and right here, and it feels relatively the same. Some of my other blades that I use, maybe it's a little bit worse, but not by much. So other than, you can see I've got a little tiny bit of redness there and there. Blade performed pretty good, not the smoothest I've used. Put a little Humphreys witch hazel on. But it definitely wasn't the worst I've used. Let's see what's left in this. So yeah, not quite as much as like my silver tips or whatnot left over in the bristles, but it's also a smaller brush than what I typically use. The handle's smaller, but I didn't have any problems holding on to it or keeping a hold of it. So that was good. It's a little dry. If you watch Glenn Helly on his YouTube, you'll see him and his post-shave bloom. And it is like twice the size of my bloom. But this is also the first time I've actually used it on the head. So already starting to see those hairs split, which will make it softer. I'm going to throw on a little star jelly now. Have a little bit of feedback from the alcohol and the star jelly. Right here, right there, and a little bit on the back of my head. So, I mean, I'll give those Gillette Wilkinson swords another couple of spins, but definitely first impressions, it doesn't break my top 5 on blades. But we all have different skin types. It's always good to revisit your blades or know, even if they're not in your top 5, what they can do, especially if you have a sunburn or something going on where you can't use a blade that you would typically use. It's good to know what a backup blade would be in those situations. Since this did feel a little bit milder, it'd be one that maybe I would consider if I had a sunburn. Because currently what I would consider as a derby, but every single time I use a derby I cut myself. Go figure. I don't know if it's complacency or just you feel like you're shaving with a milder blade so you can get a little more aggressive. I don't know, but every time I use one I cut myself. All right. Matching aftershave. Shake it up real good as always. Get everything nice and mixed up. A little splash in the hands. In the aftershave, I mean, it's almost spot on, but like first hitting the skin, I could definitely smell the tonka bean and the rosemary on that. Just really folds in nice. I really like this scent. Not one of the stronger scents that Douglas puts together, but very pleasant. Typically I find with his aftershave / colognes that I'll definitely catch whiffs for a good 4 or 5 hours afterwards. So, I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's shave. Thank you for watching. If you liked what you saw, please subscribe, hit the like, and have many more to come. So you guys have a wonderful night. Thank you.